Thank you. So when we broke, we were looking at Exhibit 164, the videos that were obtained from the self-storage unit in Rexburg, Idaho. And we had completed watching the videos from October 2nd. So, Lieutenant, the same day that we have someone in Gilbert, Arizona, firing a rifle out of the back window of a Jeep without a spare tire, we see Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell putting a tire and what could be a bench seat into a storage unit that Lori Vallow rented.
That's correct.
So let's go to October 3rd then. We can start with channel 1, the 31049 video. Is this the same Nissan Rogue we've seen repeatedly enter?
Yes.
And then we could go to channel 4, the 31110 video. Is this again the driveway? We're able to see if we stop at the license plate of that Wrangler at 131120 is the same CRT number that we've talked about for the Nissan Rogue.
Yes.
If we go to channel 3, is this where we see again the Nissan, and we'll look at video 31105. Is that sort of as we follow the vehicle through there, pulling up to the building with the C-52 in it?
Correct.
We see two people again get out of the vehicle here. If we can go to the hallway version, channel 11, 31149. We see two people coming in. Is that going to unit C-52?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you recognize who those two people are?
Yes, I do.
Who do you recognize those two people as?
That is Lori Vallow again and her brother, Alex Cox.
So we're now on October 3rd at 1:12 p.m.
Correct.
What does it appear that Alex Cox is carrying out?
Looks like a seat,
Like a bench seat,
bench seat that's kind of folded.
so we could see the two parts of that.
Correct.
And if we can go to 31254. What do we see being taken out now?
That is a tire that he's carrying.
So the previous day we'd seen Chad Daybell rolling the tire in. Here we see Alex Cox carrying it out.
Correct.
The previous day, we had seen Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell carrying in a object of similar size to a bench seat.
Correct.
And today we saw Alex Cox carrying that out.
By himself, correct.
We could go to then the outside to show a 31224 channel 3. And does this show sort of them, Alex Cox taking those items out and putting it into that Nissan Rogue?
That's correct.
And then if we can show channel 1, 31310. So we see her vehicle leaving about a little before 3:15,
Yes, ma'am.
or 13:15, I guess I should say, which is 1:15 p.m.
Correct.
So if we saw in the first video we played for October 3rd, Lori Vallow, Alex Cox, and the Nissan arrive at 1:11 p.m. and we see them leaving about 1:15 p.m. This whole thing was about 4 minutes.
Yes, ma'am.
And then the prior day, it was around 1:26 or so when we see Chad and Lori bring those items to the storage unit.
Yes.
So the seat and tire are in the storage unit for about 24 hours.
Yes.
And they're collected the day after someone drives a Jeep, parks it in front of Brandon Boudreaux's house without a tire on it, and fires a rifle at Brandon Boudreaux.
That's correct.
As part of the investigation, were local firing ranges contacted to see if Alex Cox had ever gone to any of them?
Yes.
Are you familiar with the Unified Sportsman Club?
Yes, I am.
Is that in Rexburg, Idaho?
It is. It's just west of Rexburg, probably about 10 minutes west.
Is that a place where you could practice shooting outdoors?
Yes, it's open to the public.
What'd you say? Sorry.
It's open to the public, I'm sorry.
Is it a place where you can shoot rifles outside?
Yes.
Okay. So it's not just like an indoor range?
Correct.
Okay. Were sign-in records for the Unified Sportsman Club, as well as an affidavit authenticating their sign-in records obtained?
Yes, they were.
And in going through those records, did you initially see someone by the name of Alex Cox sign in on September 3rd of 2019 at the Unified
Yes.
Sportsman's Club?
Yes, I did.
Did he even provide his phone number?
He did.
Did you later see sign-ins on September 27th and 28th that appeared familiar to you?
Yes, I did.
Were those sign-ins with just the initials CQUINT?
Yes.
Did you recognize that to be similar to Alex Cox's personalized plates?
Yes, it was just one letter off, so he was missing the initial P.
And I know later we'll talk about that, but was there searches that were found by Alex Cox for places to go shooting around this time period?
Yes, there were.
State will move to admit Exhibit 169.
Any objection to 169?
No objection.
169 is admitted.
If I met the Elmo. Thank you. So were these sort of copies of records that were provided from the Unified Sportsman Club in Rexburg, Idaho, of their sign-in roster?
Yes.
And do we see on September 3rd an Alex Cox at 2:50 p.m.?
Yes.
And the 480-351-9120, is that the phone number that has been associated with Alex Cox?
Yes.
That's his cell phone number.
Correct.
Same type of records. On September 27th, did you note a CQUINT at 3:50?
Yes.
And on September 28th, did you notice that same CQUINT at 3:10?
Yes.
So just a few days before the shooting of Brandon Boudreaux, you noted some sign-ins that appeared to be one letter off from Alex Cox's license plate number
Correct.
when he is searching for shooting ranges.
Yes, ma'am.
We have heard about a burner phone that was purchased at a Walmart store. Are you familiar with Walmart store in Idaho Falls?
Yes, it's on Utah Avenue in Idaho Falls.
Is there a Walmart in Rexburg?
There is.
Is the Walmart in Idaho Falls a bigger?
No,
Okay. How far is Idaho Falls from Rexburg?
about 25 miles south.
Now, as part of the investigation, did you become familiar with a phone number that was used at the time of the shooting to call Chad Daybell?
Yes,
Started with a 304 area code.
correct.
Were you familiar with those records being obtained and them indicating that that phone had been purchased at the Walmart at Idaho Falls, store number 5494?
Yes,
Did law enforcement or police obtain a copy of the receipt from September 25th of 2019 for that burner phone that was purchased at that Walmart store 5494?
yes,
And that is the phone that was later documented to be used in Gilbert, Arizona
that's correct.
on October 2nd of 2019.
Yes, ma'am.
Shown the defendant Exhibit 170. If I can admit it pursuant to 802 and 9 or 803 and 902 with its authentication.
Any objection?
Yeah, just a foundation, Your Honor.
What was the number again?
It is 170.
170 submitted.
So 170 is got the business records affidavit from Walmart itself, correct?
Correct.
And then provided with that was a receipt for the phone that we've been discussing.
Yes,
Now, do each phone have, I guess, were you provided with IMEI numbers and MEID numbers that are sort of like a VIN number for a phone?
that's correct.
And is that how it was determined that this phone with the 304 area code was purchased at Walmart?
Yes,
So once you learned that, you were able to then obtain a receipt to show the purchase itself.
that's right.
Does it show this was purchased at 9/25 of 2019?
Yes, it does.
1917, what is that normal people time?
1910 is 710.
7:10. And then was this cash?
Yes,
So it couldn't be traced to someone who bought it.
correct.
And then we see the store number here, correct?
Yes,
Exhibit 180 has previously been admitted. These are the track phone records for the 304-960-5998 number. I'm going to go through a few of these with you. So in Exhibit 190, we see that this phone was from the see the best way to do this. So Exhibit 180, we have a serial number as well there that's listed, correct?
correct.
And do we see this same 352-069-108-185-769 number here
Yes,
as the phone that was activated.
yes,
So this receipt then relates to the track phone records.
correct.
And in fact, in Exhibit 180, do we see that same Walmart superstore that we've been talking about that you told us about on Utah Avenue in Idaho Falls?
Yes,
And again, the same store number, 5494,
correct.
same date and time,
Yes,
and the same account number that we have seen both on the receipt as well as the other track phone with the
Yes.
769 ending there.
yes.
So when law enforcement was learning of this phone that was in Gilbert at the time of the shooting of Brandon Boudreaux, you were able to determine that it was purchased up in Idaho Falls on September 25th of 2019.
Correct.
Now, we have heard earlier in this courtroom that Melanie Boudreaux had flown from Arizona up to Idaho on September 26th. Was a search warrant written and executed to obtain flight records from Allegiant Air?
Yes, they were.
And did Allegiant Air provide records to show that Melanie Boudreaux flew from Mesa Gateway Airport to Idaho Falls on September 26th of 2019?
Yes,
Did those records show that Melanie Boudreaux flew from Idaho Falls, Idaho, back to Mesa on Sunday, September 29th of 2019?
yes, they did.
Was an affidavit from Allegiant Air obtained authenticating those and indicating they are kept in the normal course of their business?
Yes, there was.
State will move to admit these pursuant to 803 and 902.
What's the number again?
171.
Any objection?
Relevance, Your Honor.
The exhibit's admitted.
So again, we have the affidavit. Do we see here record showing that Melanie Boudreaux flew from Mesa Gateway Airport on September 26th to Idaho Falls?
Yes,
And then the return flight back to Mesa Gateway Airport from Idaho Falls on September 29th of 2019?
yes,
And you told us Idaho Falls, is that the closest major airport to Rexburg?
that's correct.
We'd heard Rexburg has a small airport. Does it have commercial flights there?
No, no commercial flights flying to Rexburg.
So the closest commercial flights would be Idaho Falls.
Yes,
As this investigation continued, was a search warrant written on December 30th of 2019 to obtain the Google Gmail records relating to Alex Cox's cell phone, the 480-351-9120?
Yes, it was.
And was it learned that he had an email address of homerjmaximus@gmail.com?
Correct.
Had you seen that Gmail account when you executed the search warrant back on November 26th?
Yes, so there's a device found in apartment 175 in the garage amongst Alex's personal belongings that still was signed in under the Homer J. Maximus Gmail account. So we were able to confirm that that was in fact one of Alex's Gmail accounts.
And were those homerjmaximus@gmail.com records that contained GPS and Wi-Fi mapping information provided to the FBI CAST analyst Nick Balance?
Yes.
And did those records contain data and information, both Wi-Fi, GPS, as well as searches, maps, and other activities for the time range around the shooting on October 2nd of 2019?
Yes, it did.
Now, when you were looking at these, let me ask you this, did you go through these Google or Gmail records for Homer J. Maximus?
Yes, I was tasked with going through each of the records associated with Homer J. Maximus.
When you obtained those records from Google, did they have an affidavit authenticating them?
They did.
Did you look at those records to see if there were things in there that seemed to be relevant to this investigation for the October 2nd, 2019 shooting?
Yes, I did.
Did they contain things such as searches for places to shoot near Rexburg?
Yes.
Did it contain searches for things like window tint shops?
Yes, it did.
Did it contain searches for things like how to load your own ammunition?
Yes.
Best projectiles for long range?
Yes.
Did it have searches for ballistic charts and ballistic trajectory calculators?
Yes.
Did it have searches for Manshot and Gilbert?
Yes.
Were there maps to Dan's window tinting?
There were.
Was there maps and searches for 3875 East Phelps Road in Gilbert, Arizona?
Yes, there were.
When you looked at the timing of those searches and the maps, was there searches for 3875 East Phelps Road in Gilbert, Arizona, both on October 1st in the evening as well as in the morning of October 2nd prior to the shooting?
Yes, there were.
After the time of the shooting at 9:13 or 9:14 a.m. Gilbert time, Arizona time, were there searches for cities and locations in both Arizona as well as Utah and Idaho?
Yes.
Did those searches appear to be a route back to Idaho Falls?
Yes, it appeared they were going north.
Was the last search, in fact, Idaho Falls?
Correct.
Based upon your review of these homerjmaximus@gmail.com documents, did they appear to be related to Alex Cox?
Yes, they did.
The state will move to admit Exhibit 174 pursuant to 803 and 902.
Any objection?
No, Your Honor.
174 is admitted. 4, right?
174, yes. As part of the documentation that was provided by Google in their authentication, did they provide subscriber information?
Yes, they did.
So we have a subscriber of Alex Cox for the homerjmaximus@gmail.com.
Correct.
Let's start with the Chrome searches for the Homer J. Maximus. Do we see on September 27th a Chrome view for minute of angle?
Yes.
On September 28th, were there different searches for ammunition and calculators?
Yes.
At the end, we see a ballistic trajectory calculator from September 28th.
Correct.
Now, just so we're clear, this says September 28th at 3:35 a.m., but it says UTC. Does that reflect Idaho time, UTC?
No,
Or is that
if the search was done in Idaho, it would reflect Idaho time. UTC is a Universal Time Coordinated, is what it stands for. And depending on where you are at, it's either like Idaho is -6 and Arizona would be -7 hours UTC.
So if we're looking at something here that shows a search for a ballistic trajectory calculator on September 28th at 3:35 a.m., would we have to go back, subtract 6 hours to determine what time it would have been in Idaho?
That's correct.
So I'm going to use my fingers because I don't know how else to do it. So it'd be 2, 1, 12:30, 11:30, 10:30, 9:30 p.m. on September 27th?
Correct.
Okay. Do we have a shooter's calculator, ballistic trajectory calculator search on September 28th at what is shown as 5:34 p.m., again, UTC?
Yes.
So that would be the morning hours or before noon on September 28th, Idaho time?
Correct.
And then is there on September 30th a search, and again, so we show 10:10 p.m., so if we -6, we're looking at 4 in the afternoon for Phoenix weather?
Correct.
Let's look at the searches next associated with this time period, or some of them, leading up to the shooting. So you had talked about the fact that this email associated with Alex Cox that is subscribed to Alex Cox searched for places to shoot near Rexburg on the 23rd of September.
Correct.
And we see multiple shooting places to shoot searches.
Correct.
In fact, I'm going to pull it back a little bit. Do we see even outdoor places to shoot near Rexburg? Shooting Rexburg? Multiple searches of that variation around the 23rd of September.
Multiple searches and sites that are also visited.
Okay. So, and we can see searched for and visited.
Correct.
Do we see on September 23rd a search for Tint Shop, Idaho Falls?
Yes.
And then we see a auto tint near me search as well.
Correct.
The 23rd of September, did you later learn that that is the day that Alex Cox reached out to Dan Moss's Auto Tint
Yes.
in Rexburg, Idaho?
Correct.
Some of the other searches that you saw in this Homer J. Maximus Gmail that is associated to Alex Cox, things search for YouTube on how to load your own ammunition, as well as viewing a video on how to load your own ammunition.
Yes.
As we move on to, although it says September 25th, in Idaho time, would that be on the 24th, actually?
Correct.
We see a search or a visited site for best projectile for long range with 300 Win Mag. And then a visited site regarding the 300 Winchester Magnum load data.
Yes.
And September 25th is 7 days before the shooting of Brandon Boudreaux.
Yes.
Do we then see different searches on a 5.56 millimeter at 500 yards, 5.56 bullet drop at 500 yards on the 28th, or again, if we calculate it to Idaho time, the 27th?
Correct.
Another visited site of a ballistic trajectory calculator. And again, would that have been September 27th?
Yes.
And so this is one of the days where you saw the sign-in at the Unified Sportsman's Club of that CQUINT,
Correct.
in an outdoor range where you could fire a rifle.
Yes, ma'am.
Now we show October 3rd of 2019, man shot in Gilbert, Arizona. Now, since this is 2:46 a.m. Universal Time, if we put this to Idaho time, we would have to go back 6 hours.
Correct.
So if we went to 1:46, 12:46, 11:46, 10, 9, 8:46 p.m. Idaho time,
Yes.
and if it was Arizona, you said it was -7,
Yes, ma'am.
so 7:46 Arizona time, p.m. on October 2nd,
That's correct.
the day of the shooting.
Right.
And we have a couple different searches for that around that same time period, within a couple minutes of each other.
Yes.
And in fact, is one of the last searches that we included in here, a news on Brandon Boudreaux.
Yes.
So again, although it says October 3rd at 2:53 a.m. Universal Time, that would be, depending on Idaho or Arizona time, 7 or 8 p.m. or almost 8 or 9 p.m. at that time on October 2nd,
That's correct.
that the Google account, Homer J. Maximus, that has been subscribed to Alexander Cox, associated to him, and that you saw on a device, is searching for shootings in the East Valley, in Gilbert, and Brandon Boudreaux.
Yes.
And lastly, as part of the Google records that were provided in reference to Alex Cox's phone number, that 480-351-9120, that is associated to the Homer J. Maximus at Gmail account, were there maps that were part of the records sent to you by Google?
Yes.
And so do we see on September 25th a search for Dan's window tinting and then a map with directions there?
Correct.
And in your investigation, did you learn that on September 25th, a Jeep Wrangler 2018 with Texas plate LWD 0997 was taken to Dan's window tinting?
Yes, I did.
And the phone number that made that appointment was Alex Cox's phone number, 480-351-9120?
That's correct.
Was there a map with directions in the Google records for Alex Cox's Homer J. Maximus Gmail account on October 1st for 2500 South Power Road, Suite 215 in Mesa, Arizona?
Yes.
So we see it as October 1st of 2019 at 8:58 p.m. What would that be Arizona time?
So it would be minus 7 hours, which would be 1:58 p.m.
So at 1:58 p.m., Alex Cox's Gmail is searching for directions to this Power Road location.
Yes, ma'am.
You testified earlier about a receipt from a Los Favoritos on Power Road in Mesa with a date of, or a time and date of October 1st at 1:12 p.m.
Yes, ma'am.
And that Los Favoritos on Power Road was in Mesa as well.
That's correct.
As we continue with the maps, do you now begin seeing searches for and directions to 3875 East Phelps Street in Gilbert, Arizona?
Yes, ma'am.
So although this says October 2nd, when we look at the 2:52 a.m. Universal Time, what time would this be in Arizona and what day?
That would be October 1st at 5:52 p.m. Is that right?
Or 7:52? I use the fingers, no shame.
7:52. Yes, 7:52.
All right. So 7:52 p.m. on October 1st, Alex Cox's Gmail account is searching for Brandon Boudreaux's address
That's correct.
and then asking for directions to his address.
Correct.
And in fact, are there multiple searches that evening for that address?
Yes.
Now, we see here those were 4:32 a.m. on October 2nd, and then we still are on October 2nd Universal Time, but now we're at 2:17 p.m. I'm going to use the fingers, but if we go backwards 7 hours, right? So we have 1, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 17 a.m. on October 2nd,
Correct.
Arizona time.
Yes.
So 7:17 a.m., October 2nd, is a couple hours before the shooting.
Correct.
That again, Alex Cox's Gmail account associated and subscribed to him is searching for Brandon Boudreaux's address.
Yes.
And does the next page show he's searching for directions to his address?
Correct.
Now, the shooting we've heard is about 9:14 a.m. after the shooting, was there searches for locations in Arizona, beginning to go all the way up to Idaho Falls?
Yes, there were.
So again, now we see October 2nd at 4:55 p.m. We go backwards. 3, 2, 1, noon, 11, 10, 9, 40, or 9:55 a.m. There's a search for Arizona Farm Road, right?
Right.
Then as we go further on, we see a search for Pine Top, Lakeside, Arizona. So again, if we take 7 off, we're looking at now 11:38 a.m. on October 2nd.
I can't see that on my screen.
I
Sorry.
apologize for that. Let me push it up. So if it's 6:28 Universal Time and we minus 7, we're looking at 11:38 a.m. on October 2nd.
That's correct.
And then we see that it was viewed in Google Maps, right?
Yes.
Then we see a search for Holbrook, Arizona.
Correct.
And then we see directions to Holbrook.
Correct.
As we continue going through his records, do you see a search for probably a typo, Moa, and then later we see Moab, Utah?
Yes.
And so now we're looking at October 2nd, 10:22. So Arizona time, we're looking at 3:22 in the afternoon,
Correct.
or minus 6, we'd be looking at 4:22 Idaho time.
Correct.
Now, Universal time, we're still looking now at October 3rd. We're looking at a search for Fillmore, Utah. Is Utah below Idaho?
It is.
Directions to Fillmore, Utah.
Yes.
And then we can see it was viewed in Google Maps. And was the final search that is included in these records, or this exhibit, to Idaho Falls Airport, what we show as October 3rd, 5:55 a.m.?
Correct.
That would be October 2nd, Idaho time.
Correct.
When we were looking at these searches, the timing for the search for the shooting in Gilbert or the shooting for Brandon Boudreaux, would that have been while this phone and this vehicle and Alex Cox were still driving from Arizona back to Idaho Falls?
Yes.
Showing defendant exhibit 175, if I can have my paralegal approach. Is that a map that shows the searches we just went through that occurred the morning of October 2nd, starting with Brandon Boudreaux's address at 3875 East Phelps Road in Gilbert, Arizona,
Yes.
and then going to the Arizona Farm Road location,
Correct.
the Pine Top search?
I don't see the Pine Top.
Holbrook,
Holbrook, I do.
Moab,
Yes, ma'am.
Fillmore,
Yes.
Idaho Falls?
Yes.
And do they reflect the times on the Google records in the UTC.
Yes.
State will move to admit Exhibit 175.
Any objection?
No objection.
175 is admitted.
So for those of us that may have failed geography, are we able to see Arizona? I'm going to take this out of this shiny package, maybe. So this is Arizona here with the search for the Phelps Road and the time, again, that's under the UTC.
Correct.
And then these searches from there for the Arizona Farms Road that we discussed and saw,
Yes.
the Holbrook,
Yes.
Moab,
Yes.
Fillmore, and Idaho Falls.
Yes, ma'am.
Does that show a path back towards Idaho Falls and Rexburg area, consistent with when we later see Alex Cox with Lori Vallow at that storage unit?
Yes, it does.
We heard that you, about the Homer J. Maximus at Gmail account, also on December 30th, the same time that that search warrant was sent to Google for any Gmail or Google accounts associated to Alex Cox's phone number. Did that search warrant also request any Google Gmail records relating to Lori Vallow's cell phone number, 480-962-9562?
Yes, it did.
And did Google provide records for the lollytimeforever@gmail.com records?
Yes, they did.
First. This is Exhibit 172 and 173. The overall records that you obtained from those search warrants for the Homer J. Maximus and the Lolly Time Forever. The state will move to admit Exhibit 172 and 173 pursuant to 803 and 902 as the Google records for the Homer J. Maximus and the Lolly Time Forever accounts.
Any objection?
Just Foundation and Crawford issue, Your Honor.
All right. They're admitted.
And you told us for the Homer J. Maximus that you had provided that to your past agent and that you have reviewed all those documents in the Homer J. Maximus, right?
Correct.
When you obtained the lollytimeforever@gmail.com records, did you review all those as well?
I reviewed most of them, yes.
Did those contain, let me start. So we said that those were tied to Lori Vallow's cell phone number of 480-962-9562.
Correct.
And did those contain information such as searches looking for units at 565 Pioneer Road?
Yes, they did.
And other searches to identify the person, Lori Vallow, as searching for areas within Rexburg, Idaho?
Yes.
Is that consistent with the time that she was in Rexburg, Idaho?
Yes.
and searches for a place to live at the time when she moved to Rexburg and moved into that 565 Pioneer Road.
Correct.
Did it also contain on September 30th of 2019 a search for how to get the back seat out of my Jeep?
Yes, it did.
Did it also contain a search for, on October 2nd of 2019, Gilbert News?
Yes.
And are those just some of the searches that were part of those Gmail records that were provided to you by Google as a result of that search warrant?
That's correct.
And like the Homer J. Maximus, did Google provide an affidavit authenticating those records as well?
Yes, they did.
And did they also provide a subscriber information showing this as subscribed to Lolly Vallow?
Yes.
State will move to admit 191 pursuant to 803 and 92.
Any objection?
Just the same foundational objection to
It's admitted.
the search.
So again, we have the authentication record pursuant to the search warrant that you've discussed, correct?
Correct.
You are provided with subscriber information for Lolly Vallow at lollytimeforever@gmail.com, correct?
Correct.
Were you aware that Lori Vallow had provided this email address to her brother Alex Cox previously?
Yes.
Some of the searches that you saw in this lollytimeforever@gmail.com address that was tied to both Lori Vallow's cell phone number and provided by her to her brother Alex Cox, did those start as far back as August 15th in terms of showing the relevance to moving to Rexburg, Idaho?
Yes.
You learned, and we've heard of the fact that she resided at 565 Pioneer Road in Rexburg, Idaho.
Yes.
And did she do several searches in the weeks leading up to, or in these weeks in August, for apartments in that complex?
Yes, she did.
So even on the 27th of August, we're seeing a search again for 565 Pioneer Road in Rexburg, or Pioneer in Rexburg, Idaho.
Yes.
Did you see searches for and visit to the UPS, or United States Postal Service, change of address?
Yes.
Was that consistent with your understanding of when Ms. Vallow moved into the residence based upon the documentation that we previously admitted?
Yes, it was.
Again, we see searches for that 565 Pioneer, Rexburg, Idaho.
Correct.
Were there other searches in the area, again, showing that she is looking for searching and visiting places in Rexburg, Idaho? Here we see Walgreens.
Correct.
You'd talk to us about Idaho Falls. Is that one of the places where you can go near Rexburg to see movies?
Yes, it is.
Now, you told us that you are the person who impounded Lori Vallow's 2018 Jeep Wrangler, correct?
That's correct.
On September 30th at 11:14 p.m. UTC, did this Gmail account, Lolly Time Forever, that is tied to Lori Vallow's cell phone number and that she gave to her brother, search how to get the back seat out of my Jeep Wrangler?
Yes, she did.
So if we're talking Idaho time and we go back 6, where are we at for that for time?
So it'd be 5:14
PM.
p.m.
So September 30th, we're talking just a couple days now before the shooting of Brandon Boudreaux.
That's correct.
And do we see, in fact, they visited, or she visited this site, Jeep Wrangler JK rear seat removal how to DIY YouTube video.
Yes.
And that is basically a few seconds after this first search.
Yes, ma'am.
When we were watching those videos from the storage unit, did you see something being brought into the storage unit by Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell on October 2nd that appeared to look like a rear seat?
Yes, I did.
And on October 3rd, when we were viewing those videos from the self-storage unit, did you see Lori Vallow and Alex Cox removing something that appeared to be a rear seat from the storage unit?
Yes.
On October 3rd at 2:13 a.m. UTC time, do you see a search for Gilbert News?
Yes, I do.
So since this is 2:13 a.m., is this actually on October 2nd? And if we go back
8:13.
p.m.?
Correct.
So 8:13 p.m. on October 2nd, Lori Vallow is searching for, or Lori Vallow's Gmail account is searching for Gilbert, Arizona News and Gilbert, Arizona News breaking news local headlines.
Correct. She was searching for Gilbert News and visited the site as well.
Okay, so searched for it and then went and visited it just a few seconds later.
Yes.
And then when we were viewing the videos of that storage unit, this is 8 p.m.-ish on the 2nd. The next day at 1:15-ish is when we see Lori Vallow and Alex Cox taking that back seat and the tire out of the storage unit
Correct.
and putting that into her Nissan Rogue.
That's correct.
The state has no other questions for this witness, Your Honor.
Cross.
No questions, Your Honor.